If I was going to get started with the Apple ecosystem today, this is what I would choose and where I'd spend my money. Hi everyone, it's Simon. Welcome to Better Creating. I wanted to make this video because there's a lot of people that can spend way too much money on Apple products and then kind of get lost in the hype. There's a lot of stuff out there. You can buy refurbished from Apple. You can buy new from third-party sellers. You can buy a maxed out pro laptop and then just use it for email. And then you've got phones, iPads, home hubs. How far do you want to go and where should you really invest your money? This video is going to tell you my personal opinion on what I would do right now if I had a kind of medium budget. We're not going to kind of vomit a load of money on it, and nor are we going to keep it super budget. I want to find something that's worth investing in that really makes a difference. So here's where I'd start. Number one, let's talk about the phone. As beautiful as the iPhone 16 Pro is, I don't think the Pro's needed for most people. I have one because I love the cameras and I like filming with those options, but I'm a content creator. I would definitely get an iPhone 16 though, if you can afford it, but maybe start at that base level. Get the small one so it fits in your hand and in your pocket, and keep it pretty simple. Maybe up one level of gigabytes on storage to make sure you future-proof it. But the 16 gives you that nice camera control feature on the side, and it also means that you're going to be future-proof for when Apple Intelligence really gets good, if it does. And I would keep it in a silver or a black. You can always add color with cases if you want to later on. So that's your phone. Now, before we talk about the big choice, which Mac to go for, have you noticed that my iPhone might look a little different to usual? These are my icon and cover packs, and they're kind of today's sponsor. That's me. Yeah, I'm really proud of these. We've been making these for a couple of years now, and people just love it. It really does simplify and calm your workspace. There's 192 icons, matching and linked covers for each pack, and some widgets, so you can completely design a calm, minimal, and focused aesthetic right across your devices. We've even added icons to add as third-party apps in your Mac. I've got full customization guide videos using Apple shortcuts, so you spend a lazy Sunday afternoon and you can end up with one of these looks. My latest pack is the Ambient Calm pack with a nice kind of pastel shades, cloudy kind of chill vibe. It's really lovely. The Dieter Rams inspired physical buttons pack, which draws on Dieter Rams' design language, and the originals, these original minimal, light and dark, simple minimalist icon packs have really gone a long way. We cover the Google suite, the Microsoft suite, and my favorite apps, as well as some general shortcuts, meaning that you can also create bookmark shortcuts on your phone or iPad to do specific things like open my journal in Notion. So jump over to bettercreating.com and you can grab one of those packs. Fly your way to a beautifully coherent Apple ecosystem. How about that? Right, let's talk about a Mac. Choose carefully, my friends, because it's really easy to go too far. I had a phone call recently with Apple when I was trying to choose what MacBook to buy. And I spoke to their customer service team about, do I need a Pro? And honestly, they were like, unless you are a full-on graphic artist, 3D renderer, heavy multi 4K workflow editor of video, you probably don't need the top spec. So if you want to keep it cheap, go to that basic M1 chip MacBook Pro. Sure, it's an old spec, but you could pick that up for very little money now and it would be super powerful. Unless Mac release that low budget brand new Mac that they're rumored to produce soon. Otherwise, if you want to keep it mid-spec, great for most people, maybe you do a little bit of light editing occasionally, work with images, all of that, but mostly you're using it for email, work, administration, all of that kind of stuff, just get a MacBook Air. I think the latest version is worth going for. Maybe you go for the M3 or M4 chip, but keep it low spec. You don't need much more. It's going to do its job. It's a beautiful design. It's kind of stayed this design for a long time. So I think that is going to hold out for you for years to come. Now, I would say the MacBook Pro you're only going to need if you are someone who often is plugging in hard drives to edit from, who's often plugging in an HDMI to run stuff from, someone who has a workflow where you're going to need to plug devices in and get serious with some pro apps. So if you're a power user, this would be my choice for the MacBook. Get the 14-inch MacBook so you can carry it, but it's still a bit heavier than the Air, and run everything off it with a monitor at your desk. If you do want it to be light, you could consider the M4 Pro chip Mac Mini at your desk for heavy workflow. That would really cut it on serious editing. And then go to a cheaper MacBook Air for your daily driver when you're traveling and moving around. that combination could be great, but you really need to know why. But at that point, you're kind of spending the same money for two specific computers instead of one really maxed out MacBook, so maybe you then spend it on the MacBook. That's where I am with computers. So now let's talk about iPads and accessories, because, you know, if you know this channel, I'm kind of the iPad guy as well. The iPad is misunderstood. Don't buy one unless you know how you will actually use it. But I use it very specifically. If you think of an iPad as a digital notebook, sketchbook, and research tool, that's where it comes into its own. Only ever buy an iPad, in my opinion, if you're budgeting in an Apple Pencil. Without it, it kind of just feels frustrating. The Apple Pencil unlocks a ton of iPad-specific tools, things like Procreate for drawing and sketching, whether that's work or for play, Good Notes where you can take lecture notes, it will understand handwriting and turn it into text in Apple Notes, and then you've got all the other features that Apple Pencil will bring you. It's just much better to use. And remember that an iPad is really for reading, learning, it's knowledge work. It's a place where you can sketch, develop ideas, collaborate. So if you see a value for it, then it can be worth it. For me, I use it for thumbnail creation, pretty much predominantly using Pixelmator Pro, best app that Apple have bought recently. And I use it for researching, reading, planning out videos. So as a portable tool without a keyboard attached to it, just getting a simple case, it's fantastic. I also work in the theatre in my other life, so taking notes on an iPad in a theatre environment is absolutely brilliant. I can write my notes, it can transcribe it into text, and I don't need a light to look at my notebook. It's fantastic. But if I were you, I would aim at the 11-inch Air. That's all you're really going to need. The Pro is gorgeous, their best bit of kit still, but it's a waste of money for most people. I tried the iPad mini. I love the idea of it, but it just is too small really to make it worth it over a phone. Unless, you know, you're someone who wants a Kindle replacement type notebook. So yeah, that would be my ideal combination, I think. I would go for the iPad Air with an Apple Pencil Pro. Beautiful stuff. Okay, most of you probably don't need at least one of those, so keep it simple. Let's take a minute just to talk about a couple of accessories that are really worth it in the Apple ecosystem. If you're in the Apple ecosystem or are switching to it, there's one Apple accessory you should absolutely own, and I didn't for years: AirPods. AirPod Pro 2s are the best revelation I've made about the ecosystem. Now, I thought this was like a waste of money. You know, they're kind of sealed and you're like, well, when they break, they die and all of that. Oh my God, they're so good. And the reason they're so good, I know I'm probably speaking to the converted here, you turn a device on and they're connected to it. The hearing protection they've now added to this is amazing. I actually was at a gig listening to it with my AirPods in, and it improved the quality of the music. It's not quite socially accepted yet, but very cool. Listening to spatial audio from Apple Music on AirPods is an absolute revelation. I recommend it. I did a music event recently with Apple and was blown away by their spatial audio studio. But it's just that interconnectivity of them, how easy they are to use. It's a beautiful device. The transparency mode just automatically turning on when you have a conversation with people. It really is one of the best pieces of tech out there. So yeah, go for those. Oh, and a cool trick, you can genuinely nod and shake your head to speak to Siri or answer a call. Very cool. So that's the one accessory. And then beyond that, I personally tend to shy away from Apple's OEM accessories. I'm a big fan of people like Moft, who make great things like tripod stands, cases. They've got a very nice iPad case, so check them out. And beyond that, for accessories, invest in a really good SSD hard drive and format it to APFS, I think it is, something like that. I'll write it up on the screen. Formatting it in the right way is key so that it will work with all your devices. If you format it in that certain way, it will work on your phone, your iPad, or whatever device you have, and your Mac. And it means that you can do things like plug it into a phone to record high quality video or add files from one device to another. It's really good. So yeah, consider that. My favorites, probably SanDisk, but crucial, make a very cool and very tiny SSD called the X9 Pro that you might just love. So those are my hardware picks if I had to choose this year to join the Apple ecosystem. But there's one more thing. Once you've got your hardware down, that's only half the battle. To really make the most of the Apple ecosystem, you need to know the secret or less known tips and tricks for how it works together. To do that, I'd watch this video here, or you can watch this one for my customization tips for making the most of your devices, and you can find those rather nice icon and cover packs that I've created at bettercreating.com if you really want to make your iPhone minimal and cool. Click my page to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.